Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I think it's about time. We're just giving 5 minutes for those who are joining. They are in the queue. But I think now it's about time we started up. So welcome everybody on this call. It's a bright morning. Karibuni sana. I'm happy. I can spot some of our panelists already in the call. So tell us where you are. Where I am, it's a bit wet, but warm. I don't know where you are. So greet us, tell us where you are, because we like knowing what's happening where you are. And in the next 1 minute, I will be jumping in, just giving an extra few seconds for those who are in the queue to join. And once they clear, we'll start the session in less than a minute. So use the chat. Where are you logging this call from? Where are you logging this call from? Yeah, they're about almost, those who are in the queue. Mom. Yes, welcome Jacinta. You told me you're here in Nairobi. Karibu sana. I guess we're sharing the same weather. Wet in the morning, a bit warm now, which is good. Yes, let me try to. Yes, good morning. Mercy, good morning. Nairobi, at the workplace. Wow. Good to know that. Yes, Mueni, karibu sana. People are logging a lot from Nairobi. Let me see how many are logging off Nairobi. We're struggling with sound quality. Kindly, we can't hear you. Who can't hear me? Wow, that's a new one. Have been good too. If you cannot hear Damaris, please let me know whether it's my site so we can check. Edna Karibu Sana, good morning, logged from Kitengela. But Mercy Ngei is all the way from Mombasa. Watu wa pwani, habari za asubuhi. How is Mombasa weather-wise and everything? Yes, Nairobi. Jacqueline, good morning. Yes, good morning. Josephine Osaya, yes, we have a lot. Kirinyaga, I can see you. Jacqueline there. And Dorothy Ogola, wow, yes, good morning. You're all the way from Kampala, a little bit earlier than our timeline, but welcome to the session. Tiffany, I can see you, yeah, from Nairobi. Jocelyn, Nairobi. Mumo Maundu as well, Nairobi. Roberto, yes, you're in Naivasha. Wow, that name sounds like you are about to log in from some place there. Irene, Edoret, Nyamira, Meda, Karibu Sana, you're in the workplace. Yes, we'll make it sweet and engaging as usual. Those who are working, don't worry. We'll do a bit of making it very fun for you. So it's not work as usual, not work on Saturday as usual. So I want to kick off this one. Those who are joining, they'll continue joining. And move into, first of all, welcoming those who've just joined the session. And this session, definitely, you must have seen the title or the topic of discussion that we'll focus on in the next about an hour and a half. Thinking about, I know this is not a new thing. You must have had this as well, or it must probably has happened to your organization for those who are working in organizations. The tightness of budgets. Yes, I tell you, I work in training myself or in learning and development and OD, and budget issues is like becoming the order of the day. Resources are, shrinking as much as we also want to keep on doing much and achieving much. Are you having those issues? What are you doing to keep your, talent or your employees motivated, plugged in, engaged? Because yeah, for someone to really stay with you, they really must have a reason for that. So what strategies are you doing or you are having to hold them, to keep them interested? We have a lot of those shaker changes happening in the workplace, and they are affecting, of course, employees and employee morale and many other things. And we are here to dive in and see, so these challenges that are not affecting just the leadership of organization, of which I have seen some people here, and I can tell you are at the top of that leadership, as well as human resources, because we are the first line advisors when it comes to these things. What are we putting on the table amidst all these challenges? If you haven't experienced that challenge, welcome, because you never know. Again, for future planning, it's very important. So we dive in this discussion about talent management and especially retention. How are we doing that? Amidst the challenge of, the challenge of resources, and of course, what can we do about the resource or economic hardship? And here, as you have seen, we have let me share something here. We have our panelists. We have our panelists right in place. And I want to swiftly introduce or just mention them, because I can see some of them right here. I know one of them had an issue in the morning. I hope we'll get feedback on how that is going. But karibuni sana, thanks very much. I move straight to mentioning the one I can see right here, Mwenda Peter Itumbiri. When there is HR business partner, an experienced HR professional who has years of experience, I tell you, we'll be able to learn so much from our core HR expert, Mwenda, and I will invite Mwenda just in about a second just to introduce himself. So I can see him is right in the house, karibu sana, Mwenda, and I can also spot Caroline Odandi is the head of Human Resource Council of Governors, very instrumental organization spearheading and leading all matter of management, including human resource aspects within the county governments. Happy to have you. I am not sure that I'm spotting Paul Ngugi, one who had an issue in the morning, but once I spot, but in Paul, you can let me know my team. Allow me to move in. The panelists in the house to quickly introduce themselves, and then we'll be able to this, guys. By the way, in case you came with some insightful thing, please, one of the platform we'll be using a lot is the chat, is a Zoom chat. Put it there in case you might think you forget. And number two, I like board people. You lift your hand, I'll give you it must be. And Eunice Kimeu, allow me just to mute. Thank you. What I like putting is once you come in, just mute yourself, unless you're addressing this forum. So welcome, Peter, I think Mwenda Peter Etumbiri. I need to learn to follow those three protocol words. Welcome.
Thank you, Damaris. Good morning, all, and very excited to be here as we discuss about how do we deal with the headache. As Damaris has mentioned, my name is Mwenda Itubiri, HR business partner, CIC Insurance Group. I've been there for about 12 years now. But overall, about 20 years of HR experience. Yes, maybe we will learn as we continue discussing this topic of talent management and retention strategies, the headache and the challenges we are experiencing, and how we can achieve a win-win position. So I think, unless you want me to say more, Damaris, you will guide me.
You're there. That's a bit enough for now, Peter. I'm sure we'll get to learn more about who Peter is as you dive in sharing your experience. in the various discussion points that we are having. So thanks very much, Peter. Welcome to the webinar. And I want to bring in Caroline or Dandy. Over to you.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Happy to be here and happy to see quite a number of people joining. I'm glad to speak to us today and share our valuable experiences that we have gained over a period of time. And I can hear there are some of us who are still taking breakfast. Maybe what they can do is to...
Someone is trying to mute them.
Yeah, so currently the head of HR at the Council of Governors. And Council of Governors is an intergovernmental body that brings aboard all the 47 county governments. And also part of the mentor and supervisor in the Presidential Digital Talent Program, working to ensure that HR is at the right place. Yeah, so I'll be very happy to speak to us and also very happy to share the experiences that we will talk about this morning. So thank you.
Yes.
All the best today.
Thank you very much, Caroline. Great to see you. As well as Peter Mwenda. And I think about the time we just dive into understanding what exactly, when you talk about this hardship or tough challenges we are experiencing in the space of our workplace, our people at this time, what is the issues that we are struggling with or we have experienced so far that we have found pushing us in equally as our leadership to the war on the decisions we take. And the options, especially thinking from the HR part, is always a tough one. Do you choose the business or do you choose the people? And at the end of the day, you're required actually to make a decision because a decision has to be arrived. So what do we do at that point? So I will engage as much as possible with panelists and also you participants so we can learn from experience. And each other's experience is critical because different institutions, whether it's in the private or public sector, come with different experiences when it comes to these issues. So I want to encourage you to use the chat and tell us, have you had some challenges when it comes to being able to manage your talent versus, all the elements that are required to effectively manage your talent? What strategies are you using when we are told the wage bill has to go down, or we are told we are not making as much profit or productive as we used to be, or we are told we have all these many legislative statutory requirements that we need to pay already amidst this not so good economy, and we need to do ABCD. What are you doing as an HR to navigate that? Have you hit some tough, hard walls? And what was that experience like? Did you manage to overcome that? So tell us, what experience are you having or challenges are you having from your workplace when it comes to talent management? We will also appreciate you to tell us the things that have worked for you in your workplace. You've implemented them. They're fantastic, actually, initiatives I witness when I work with our company, partners we work with. And you see a lot of great initiatives, wellness to, a lot of retention strategies that are working for them. Including the flexible work approaches. But this is for you to tell us. But very first, I want to move to Mr. Mwenda, and you tell us what has been your experience. Do you have a case study that you can open us with to paint the picture for us on these challenges in the contemporary workplace right now? Karibu, Mwenda.
Thank you, Damaris. Maybe before I mention some practical things that I have come across, I must say that talent management for sure has become a key focus in organizations due to its perceived importance, and the benefits cannot be overemphasized that accrue when we do proper talent management in our organizations. But retention, in my view, has become a real nightmare due to shifts in employee loyalty.
Yes.
We have seen where recently you identify very, very good talent, top talent, high flyers in terms of performance, potential, leadership skills, and of course you put them in a pool where you have targeted development approaches so that you make them better, and you promote them because for sure they demonstrate that they are already at a level where they need to get to the next level. You promote them. They write a thank you note. Thank you very much. I appreciate this gesture. I am very excited about this new role and the pay. Shock on us, after 2 months, they bring a resignation letter. And then you actually get, okay, we call it character development, because this is something that you didn't, there was no flight risk assessed or analyzed, identified. You call the person, they are very happy with the organization. They appreciate the promotion. And of course, we think this person should not go. And of course, the management decides, no, we need to retain this talent because the role they are playing is critical to the success of the business.
Is Mwenda there? Have we lost him? Anyone who can hear Mwenda? Jaran Juguna, are you able to hear Mr. Mwenda?
No, I can't.
Yeah, it seems like he's a bit dropped, but as we look for him, I want to appreciate, I hope you're following on what Peter is saying. He's talking about the dynamism of change when it comes to loyalty, something I really know, and most of us, I'm sure we know, from history. We tend to bring in all this manner of initiative strategies on how to motivate people so we can retain them, retention. And we want to build loyalty so they can be loyal to our business, our companies. But Peter is saying things have changed according to the observation he's made, that loyalty is no longer the thing. People are looking for other, preferences and needs beyond loyalty. So they'll be loyal and tell you, I've worked with you, we've come up quite a distance, you have helped me, but hey, I think it's about time I move to another organization. And so it seems like building loyalty is not now becoming the priority. So what are we shifting to if loyalty now is no longer the thing to build? And that's a very critical area to think about. If we think we are actually doing retention strategies for our, employees.
Can you hear me, Damaris?
To build, yes. Well, we can hear you now. I was just paraphrasing what you were saying, the issue about loyalty not working any longer. But welcome, you can proceed, Peter.
Yes, thank you. And sorry about that. I don't know what happened. I kept on talking until I saw you talking, but I could not also hear you.
Yes, maybe if you can put the video, we can spotlight you. That also helps.
Okay. Not sure if my video is on.
Let me check. Let me look for you. Mary, can you see Peter now? Yes, 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 yes. You're on now.
Okay. Good. So I was saying that when you decide to keep this employee, but you realize that their loyalty has shifted, and they have nothing against the organization. It is just what they think is good for them. And when you dig deeper into why they have shifted their loyalty or they want to leave, then you realize that their preference, their focus in terms of their career, their life has really changed. So that is what I can say. But again, if you look at the economic times that we are living in, the hardship, the cost of living, and the other economic challenges employees are experiencing, your top talent is not spared either. It doesn't select. So, and if your top talent is hit by whatever challenges in terms of the economy because of the skyrocketed cost of living, they will definitely think about what else can I do? Yes. Some of them may be delivering exactly what you're looking for, but they start doing something else out there which makes them shift their attention from you. And you realize they are no longer giving the maximum they were giving. So that is also a challenge I have experienced, I've seen, which we need to really, as we continue this discussion, we will be proposing a few practical things that we have tried and that have worked. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Peter. I like the spanner you've thrown in the works. It's something that it's like it shatters the principles under which we build retention strategies and talent management initiatives on, which is loyalty. But there you have it. We need to really think a little bit deeper on with all the options and kind of shift in dynamism of why people come to work. What else are we going to do? Because it might not be working just to build loyalty alone. They will come back and tell you the great things, but hey, they have to leave. So what do you do? Including your best talent, which is the biggest challenge, and drive our productivity. But let me hear from Caroline or Dandy, from your experience. How are these challenges, and you can pull in the challenges probably you have seen or experienced yourself. How are they affecting the employee at the workplace? Also thinking and understanding, also even as human resource and the leaders, we are also employees of the company. Welcome.
That's true. Thanks a lot for that. And I was listening to Mwenda, and I was smiling because the challenges then do not choose. I was thinking that is private sector, that is business, and us from the public sector and people who deal with delivery of services, the things that we do. So my question was, then it does not choose. Talent management cuts across. I think that was striking as you were speaking. And for me, the experiences that I have seen, one, I manage a team that has a young talent, meaning we have a mixture of both multi-generational space here where I work. You have the older team, and then we also have now the young talent who have come with fresh ideas. And I was thinking, what are these things that are shaping the landscape for talent management? These young people are coming with, there is new technologies, new innovations. They also have a lot of desire for, diversity? They do not want to work full-time. They either want to come and do something, and then they're also doing writing for other organizations. So they're coming, maybe they want to come between 8, they don't want to come maybe 9 to midday. And I see that a lot, but does government accept that? So those are the conversations that I'm trying to think of as one, I'm seeing that diversity in the workplace, trying to shape my talent management. And two is the new regulations. There are the new things. You saw the government the other day saying now people have to do housing. People have to now move to SHIF. If you hear about SHIF, social health insurance fund. And the young people are asking, is that relevant for me? Or I just want to get in? How will you keep them in that space where they are tied to some regulations? And then number three, they are saying they want remote work. How will I be able to measure the remote working experiences that were brought to us by COVID? So I look at the cost of retaining a full-time 8 to 5 staff, timing for officers in the office. Are they going to stay? Are we able to retain them? And two, I look at the demographics that I'm playing with, because like from the Council of Governors, 75, 80% are young, below 35, and most of them 24 to maybe 32. And then there's just a small percentage that are towards exit or towards retirement. The other group is in between there, maybe the directors. How am I shaping my talent management strategy? Then number four, which Peter talked about, is the cost of living. Cost of living, which means if there is anybody who will offer this young officer an extra 30,000, they will leave me the next morning. And I've seen that because we bring experienced talent, experienced people from the universities, from colleges. But one thing I am seeing just if somebody comes and says adding them extra 50,000, somebody's giving them an opportunity. Even like I see some colleagues are saying, even just an extra 5,000, somebody will say, I want to leave. So those are the challenges that I am picking, but I'm also seeing that the opportunities are also very many there that we can work. But on my sector, which is public service, there's a limit I can go, but there is some, we are saying, balancing between the individual needs and the organizational need, balancing between the county needs and what this individual I'm bringing is, balancing between what the ministry has they're saying we can only do up to this level because of maybe budget cuts. You saw that, no improvement of terms because we have a salary freeze until 2025. So how will I retain top talent? And how will I keep them? I think the bigger question for me as HR lead is, how do I keep these officers engaged? How do I keep them focused to achieve the goals of the council where I work? And how do I keep them motivated to remain? If they can remain 5 years, they can remain 3 years for me, it will be the deliverable. So the questions that I ask myself are those broad things. How do I keep them engaged? How do I keep them focused? And how do I keep them motivated to achieve the goals that are for the council or for the counties, and also their personal goals? When that converge at a point, then you're able to retain. But the challenges are real in these economic times. Somebody just offering an extra training, somebody offering an extra coin to what they currently give, you will receive a resignation letter, or you will receive can I come and discuss with you something? You know, they come to the office and say, can I come and discuss with you something? And you as HR, your antennas are up and saying, could there be the brown envelope somebody's delivering? Or could it be somebody saying, I'm resigning tomorrow? So those things are key. And as HR people, as we begin this conversation, then you need to be very, very alert and be involved right in thinking talent management. Yeah. Thank you, Damaris, and over to you.
Thanks very much. I like the merging you're doing with the experience in private and public sector. And I hope everybody can hear me. I can see some freezing on screens. I don't know whether it's on my side or your side. But look at that. You know, we have the issue of generations in the workplace. And this is another challenge in managing the needs of these different generational issues, like what Caroline is talking about. You have the people who don't mind, you know, a park here, a park there, We have others who are very specific on what they need. It's not even about the money. I tell you, I've worked with some segment of different people in different projects, and you see the people value their morning. The others will tell you for sure, in the morning, it doesn't work for me, you know, and you have to really listen to all this dynamism for you to retain this great talent to deliver. Now you look at that and what the whole workplace is presenting, and it's just very fixed and fit in one thing, and it becomes very hard to navigate that. So what is the experience that you've had from your workplace? And oh, you are breaking, Damaris. Mweni, you can hear me. I hope everybody can hear me. If you can hear me, please just confirm from the chat so I don't assume I'm talking to people while I'm talking to myself here. If you can hear me, just give me a yes in the chat so I see whether I'm audible or it's just a case of one person. Yes, I can see you're audible. Thanks very much. When you may want to look at your audio. So I want to move into Mwenda again, because there is an experience I'm sure most of us go through, and one of the things that are popping up in the rate of, I know, every day is issues of rethinking, you know, like next week, in fact, there's been conversations of how we are rethinking the wage bill of the country. I'm sure you saw that one if you're keen on some things like myself. And there is actually an agenda to shrink the wage bill to a certain percentage, which is reliably what's supposed to do. What is the effect to that? But while we think that one, especially for the public sector, for us who are, you know, working in more private or running businesses or even owners of businesses, what dynamisms are you experiencing? I'm waiting for you to share what challenges you're having, then we can be able to answer your questions. But back to you, Mwenda. Restructuring, downsizing, laying offs, and declaring of redundancies are not, you know, strange things in human resource. And I tell you from the experience I've seen the last 3 years and gaining momentum is they are coming every day. Share more a bit about the issues that you've seen in your space that are shifted when it comes to still maintaining your best talent and retaining them while you're amidst of all these changes. Welcome, Wenda. You're mute. You may want to unmute yourself, Wenda.
Yes. Thank you, Damaris. Now, I think businesses will always restructure to due to the operational requirement, either due to change of business model, operating model. Businesses will always want to survive in the midst of hard economic times. Unfortunately, when this happens, they have to be some separation. But the question is, how fair is the process that the organizations are supposed to follow, both in terms of legal is it legally done? Is it fairly done? Because you're dealing with humans, you're dealing with souls, you're dealing with families, dependents. The impact cannot be overemphasized. But businesses will always change if a shift in the market, in the regulation affects businesses. They will want to do something for their survival, and that calls for a restructuring. But maybe what I have seen working and what I would encourage is that you ensure that there is proper communication, preparing of people, and that the process should be as fair as it can be. Of course, people will always go feeling that I should have been kept, I should have remained. Why am I going? And so is left. But when a restructuring is done and some roles are declared superfluous, definitely you will find them being removed from the structure, and that means that the incumbents or the holders of those positions will definitely separate with the organization. But of course, the humane nature I am talking about is where you communicate properly before the start of the program. Let the employees know the process you will follow. Let the employees know the criteria that will be followed. You can start by allowing employees to voluntarily exit. That is a win-win in my view, because when I volunteer myself to leave, then it is a discussion that we can have. Then you look at what package. The minimum provided by the law is 15 days for each year worked. But you can do more than that, which will help people. Of course, it favors people who have worked for long, for a long period of time, because there's a function of the number of years and the salary. And of course, it is expected those who have worked for a long period of time, they have accumulated, they have been earning, or through the increments, the annual increments, they have had maybe a good salary. Good is relative, of course. Nobody will say that they have enough, but something that someone will carry home and say, I will be an ambassador of this particular organization. Over and above that, the process of counseling the employees, all of the employees, and particularly those who are affected, training them on psychologically what they expect out there, how to manage those finances they are going with, so that then they don't use it within 3 months, they are actually suffering. Because that also does not represent the brand that they have been working, especially those who have advanced in years. You can have that training, financial management on how to handle and how they can intellectually stimulate themselves, so that someone doesn't feel useless out there. And then that affects their wellness, both mentally, and affects their families. And I don't think there is a HR person, professional, who would want to be associated with having people who worked for you, they are suffering. Okay, their mental health has been affected by the experiences they are going through. I think that's how I can summarize this practically, Damaris, because it's a process I've been involved in a number of times, and I see if you have such a process, and then when this you are through with this process, you now start a change management program, so that you help those who remain settled down. You address the anxiety issues, uncertainty issues, because sometimes people, even after 3 months, when you're through with the exercise, others may feel that maybe another one is coming, and that feeling of another one is coming may actually affect your productivity and achievement of your goals and the success of the organization. So all those, it's a whole process, a whole package of activities, a very clear plan of how to achieve this, and within 6 months after the exercise is finalized, then you are sure that people have focused and they are now ready to continue achieving their objectives. Thank you, Damaris.
So thanks very much, Mwenda, and I like what you're talking about, because when we think about these changes, of course, they come with a lot of anxiety, fear, and all manner of suspicions. Even from where we stand as human resource and leaders, sometimes we see a big challenge on how especially to deal with the people element. Where is actually where the buy-in or the cookie jar drops, depending on how we manage it. And I think you've outlined the process right there, because yes, it is a process. It's not something you decide and go do some papers and invite people to collect. In other words, there is a huge repercussion or ramification for that shortcut. It's a process. And, unless you are shutting down, I think that's what Peter is saying. If you are scaling down, you still want to remain with people and great people. And how you scale it to those people will determine how you progress. So it is a process. Who else, by the way, here in this call of almost 92 that now professionals here, who else has gone through such a change, a redundancy or a restructuring experience, and you've led that? By the way, that's such a good skill. Let us know so you can drop one or two experiences, or if we get time, I could just hear one or two things on how you manage that. So thanks very much. I see, allow me to pick one or two insights from the team. And Harriet Shikanga says, majority of younger workforce, and I think Caroline highlighted something like that, because we deal with a more generational workforce, and will only come in for less period. Yeah. So mambo ya tena 3 years, 4, 5, I've been here for 40 years. Is a principle that is crumbling down somehow. So let's say 6 months, 1 year in mind as they await their passport. I think Ariad will tell us more about this passport and other documentations to proceed to another place. So there is this, I think feeling and observation that people are coming in, but the way we used to commit and people outlook for some years, it's something that we are struggling with in achieving that, because of the interest or shift in preference and needs of the employees in the workplace. That's one thing, at least, that research has shown. What else is happening also besides the short tenures, unlike it the way it used to be? Mercy, you say, I've had to be part of redundancy process, and it was the hardest part of it, because most of them had worked for them organization, wow, for over 10 good years. And here you see, we are letting them go. It is not an easy thing to deal with. But like Peter has said, organizations in one time or the other, they will need to restructure and do these things. The question is, how do we manage that? So thanks very much. I am learning. Who is learning? Like me, I think. Thanks, Peter, for sharing your experience in managing restructuring within your organization. And I think as I have learned, I'll give you an emoji. I don't know who else is feeling like giving Peter an emoji. Feel free, drop the emojis there of appreciation. And as I move to bring in Caroline Odandi on about tactics, what tactics are now organizations or leaders or human resource must now be up to, new ways of doing things, new tactics of dealing with these challenges under the new challenges or shifts with the human resource demographics and needs and everything else. I also will come back to you, Peter, because I also want to hear, as much as you're proposing these, strategies, plans, insights, and approaches that we can work along how to maintain and manage our talent, how can we, arrive to the win-win kind of strategies faster with the organization for both the business and the people? How can we achieve faster the win-win aspect? I'll come back to you, Peter, on that one. But let me hear from Caroline. What tactics are there for us to quickly pick up, especially in this session?
Okay. Thank you. And thank you, Peter, for sharing that experience. I'll just take 1 minute to share something that happened, and that HR people and HR professionals like myself face. And one of them, of course, restructuring he has spoken about, but the other one was for change of government for me. When change of leadership, I don't know, that happens in your various organizations. And for me, from the public sector, one was change of government. And when change of government happens, HR people are at the core. One thing, new people come on board and mergers. And for me, specifically in the last 2 years, the ministry where we used to work was scrapped off. What does that mean for HR? What does that mean when one of your key departments is scrapped off or is merged with another one? So we were all moved. We used to link ourselves to a Ministry of Devolution and ourselves. You remember the big one, which had money, had a lot of opportunities for training. You had your own budget. You wake up on September 5th, the first executive order. Those who understand how government works, that ministry is not part of the cabinet. Now means you are a state. You know, if you're a ministry, maybe one day I'll take us through how the government structures work. One day you're a ministry, you have your own CS. Another day you're told you are now under the DP's office. You have 4,000 staff, or let me say 300 staff like we were. All of them now, what do you do as HR? And you expected, you get the executive order, HR should sit right at the table and define strategies. Maybe that will be a question that I pose to us, what happens? There's a change of government, change of ministry, then change of direction. Then one thing we need to do, number one, is to quickly understand what this change means. And that is what the role of, if you are a HR who just sits down at the corner and only waits to be sent for letters or sent for something, you will be lost, you'll be frustrated, and in the midway, you lose your top talent. So as a strategic partner in the tables of decision as HR, immediately spare your night, understand what that executive order means. It means we are merging officers. Some of them will be taken, we call it in government, redesignation or redeployment. And maybe in your private sector, you call it either, you also call it maybe resignations, not resignation, designations. So when you do that, then you need to sit and understand what does this new ministry or this organization entail, understand the goals, and understand the vision that is required of that leadership. We had to quickly understand what the new government direction, and you've heard about the better approach. We had to quickly understand those goals and marry them with the HR practices. What were they saying? Are we merging? Are we restructuring? Are we releasing? Some of the older staff quickly had to come and say, for this group, we need to have them exit, and they will be exiting maybe in the next 2 years. So those we didn't need to deal with a lot. We need just to prepare. Then now there's a group here which is in their young ages, or they are in their new entrance into the system. Where can we get them to sit? So when you look at the goals of this new department, goals of this new organization, goals of the vision of the new government, you quickly sit down and now develop your strategies. And some of the things that I looked at was to, how do we adapt to these changes? We now had to find new leader, new direction, the things that now the new ministry was going to head, new budgets. And immediately we understood that quickly. You people did not see a disruption at all. Maybe in that first 6 months in that ministry that used to be very big, because we quickly adapted to that change and we learned, we got all the orders, we got the legislations, we got what set up the government wanted. Then you said we cannot have more PSS, we'll only have one PS. How does this PS work with us? So the HR was right at the center. We had to automatically say we have 100 staff who will have to be redeployed to different departments. And we had 23 who needed to exit. And we have the new team that needed to be retrained and retained into the various departments. When we were able to present that, it was approved. And then the council continued to work. So number two, something that you need to do as a HR person is to work with your management to create a good brand. And that is what we have tried to do. Create a good brand meaning that if I tell somebody that you're coming to work for the Council of Governors, will you be able to come? What do the employees who are sitting at the council today say about COG? What do they say about uchumi? Let me give that example. What do we still speak about Naivas? Everybody still says, I wish Naivas was there. What do we speak about Safaricom? What do we speak about CIC? What do the outward people speak about? But more importantly, what do the staff who work, the 100+ staff who work for the Council of Governors speak about COG? And one thing is by taking the proper welfare of these staff who are there. We knew that there was a change that was coming. And as HR, we did not sit back. We knew the government could go east or west. It could go Azimio, or it could go whichever, it would go now Jubilee, or it would go Kenya Kwanza. So as HR, we did not have to wait until this happened. We were planning. And that meant we understood their manifestos, and they said they will have now only 14 devolved functions. So meaning the staff in these people take care of them. So do not sit back when strategies are being made in your organization because you're HR. No, be part of it and anticipate what will happen. Anticipate if my CEO resigns, if my CEO retires, what will happen? Will the department still remain? And then, who are these in this department? Number one, take care of that welfare. And welfare means you're taking care of their training, you're taking care of their well-being, mental, because there was a lot of anxiety. Mental health could become a challenge. There was a lot of, do they have medical? Do they have their WIBA intact? Do they have their, are they going for personal development? Those are the things that you need to look at as HR, so that the well-being of these officers, you know their top talent, will remain and they will be sustained. Then number two on that section is communicate. That is one thing that as HR people we fail on. Communicate, get these groups, get the people that could be troublemakers, people who could take you to unions. You've seen what's happening now. The reason why I'm in the office, a few issues are on the road or wherever. And then next week also we have the wage bill conference. So I have to be in the office this morning. But communicate what change is happening. Communicate how long will this happen? Are we just getting these employees to be here are you here for this period, or are you in for the long? And if there is any change that needs change in pay, you saw when the new government came, they said there will be no there will be no increases made because of one, the wage bill, and because the country was in debt. So for now, 2 solid years, government officers have not received pay increases because we understood the bitter arrangement was we must reduce dependency on outside help. We must sustain ourselves from our own resources. So every officer had to know, even if you do an appraisal, there will be no increase, but that must be communicated individually and also at the group level. And then number two, they also said there will now be no, the fuel, if you are going to work outside, you have to use ABCD. It had to be communicated properly, both via circular and also through the meeting. So I reiterate what Peter was saying. Communicate, talk to your people. Do not let people guess what's happening on that talent management. And then another great thing that I saw and I experienced both during COVID and also I experienced during the transition that we've had in the past 2 years. We are just stabilizing. One thing was to create a good experience. I know most people who are in business, government is not in doing business earning profit, but government has its own customers. Who are the employees? Who are the officers? Do your employees or officers in your organization feel the customer experience you give other people? That's a food for thought. Do the colleagues who come to the HR office feel that they're being taken care of as customers, or are they clients to yourself? Can the employees feel that they may not have money, they may not have those many trainings they used to give them in the past, they may not have the travel that you are offering because of the economic times or because of the changes happening in leadership, but do they have a good experience as people who work in your organization? That is very key. And one thing that we've tried to do here at the council is that we reduced paper working so that wherever you are, you're able to, if I needed self-service, so that if I wanted to get my loan approved, it can be approved right from my phone. If somebody was sick and is away in a mission, they can quickly access those services online. So they feel that they're not wasting time. They must walk to the HR office, or they must come from where they stay and come to the office. Let's create a good experience so that the total sum of how we call it TM, we call it talent management, is not only money, the benefits. It is all the end-to-end processes of HR must infuse talent management so that everybody feels that they are very, very involved. Are we initiating more remote working? And I've seen something we did post-COVID. We all say that most of our meetings, we reduced a lot of the physical meetings. Most of our meetings are either on Zoom or Teams. And anybody from wherever they are in the counties where we serve, we can meet them remotely. That reduced a lot of people traveling, and we reduced a lot of costs. We also reduced, and so that there is no time wasted, that we will meet on Friday. We can say, can we have a breakfast meeting between 7 and 8? And we finish what was a pain point an officer was having. It can be dealt with very, very fast without having to wait until when the supervisor will be back into the office. So one thing, again, a strategy that we need to put in as HR is to improve our employee experience, employee engagement, becoming beyond just, you must come in face to see me. No, if somebody was feeling a pain somewhere, and an example I'll share, maybe Mwenda is here, they really improved the customer experience for medical services we had. If an officer was hurt somewhere, they just had to go there and say, they just share it on the smart access, and everybody can see, and that person is helped. The officers came back and said that was the best thing. We are able to get our services quickly. Take care of your colleagues, but give them an experience so that they feel that brand of the Council of Governors is sustained. Then I think the last one for me is culture of productivity. Yeah, so that in that culture of productivity, we are looking, are the officers clear of their goals? Are they clear of what is expected of them? How do they bring feedback to me as their supervisor? But as HR, and with just a little bit of salt, I want to speak to the HR professionals here who are on this. I know most of us, once we've done the strategic plans, we leave them for the leaders of those departments to handle. So you only wait and see the reports that come at the end of an appraisal. Why can't you, as a HR, sit back and say, I also want to be involved, follow through. And the officers will respect you when you come and say, I am not a medical practitioner, but I'm a human resource professional. How do I understand that this officer A and B, officer and their supervisor, have an issue? And I realize I can pick up and say, I understand, go to those strategies, read, call that officer and ask them, how is your experience in this sector that you're working on? How can we support you? When the officers feel that you're involved, they will see you have an open feedback system, but you're also promoting that everybody in your team has a culture of performance and then productivity. When we all produce, everybody feels so excited that my contribution is valued, my contribution is respected. And with the hard economic times, even if you do not add the money, then they will see that my contribution is appreciated. Then number two, on that part of culture, a culture of inclusion. And for us here, you see, Damaris knows that we travel a lot. We have a lot of either going to the counties, representing the devolution story, both here and here in Kenya and beyond. How do you as HR reinforce to your management that this one officer has gone 10 times? Why can't the other one go? When they realize that HR has a face that goes beyond just paper and documents, then they will see, they appreciate that your contribution is helping to augment the whole structure. So embrace a culture of inclusion. And when people feel included in decision-making, included in payouts, included in processes, included in opportunities to train, opportunities to travel, they will sometimes say, when they add up all that, they say, this even exceeds the salary I would be looking for. And I've seen that with my young team. I tell them, but I've given you an opportunity to go and represent the Council of Governors in Morocco. Then on that trip, I also able to I gave you some per diem. You're able to go. I gave you an opportunity to go to Mombasa and look at what the counties are doing. So when they look at their basic pay or what they take home, they realize, no, I've also had an experience to go and represent my country. I've had an experience to go and represent my organization. Such things are really key. And then lastly, on that part of culture, let's build up a culture of improvement, continuous improvement. So when we do that, they all sum up to us getting a great, productive organization and also a great place to work in. And everybody feels that I came in when I was only 24, but in my 3 years, they can count 4 things that they have earned beyond the pay. Because pay mostly is just to help you meet your basic needs, help you meet your whatever. But when they add up and say, apart from my basic pay, I have got training. Apart from my basic pay, I have been given an opportunity to improve my skills. Apart from basic pay and the emoluments, I have had an opportunity to be given a house like what we've done for our young people. We've also done for them a good mortgage and a car loan, because we believe they should get to the office. They should have a home where they come from, and also they can come to the office decently. So we've done a very basic. At 3%, you find staff, the officers feel that they can come. So, but those are talent strategies that you think of as an organization. And we say, because of hard economic times, take one and do it, start slowly. So we work with them with that journey. And then lastly, on that part of culture, we also do a culture of, we are continuously ensuring that the benefits fit the market, but also within our budget. And we explain that to them on a monthly basis when we have an update, quarterly when we do the progress reports, and also annually when we include them in the annual retreat, just to understand and hear their pain. Then on that last part, again, something that we do on that feedback, we also organize surveys. I think I'm about to finish on that. We do, as HR, we really sit there and they know we are not a big team in the HR office, but we have done quarter planning so that we know that we'll get a survey from the young people. And they're telling us we are not able to access the mortgage because this basic pay is kidogo. But we told them you can start with what you can. If you can't get a house, then get a small plot somewhere in the outskirts of Nairobi where your money can. Another one, they said, we'd also want to be involved in when the governors are going to these missions. Can we also be involved so that we learn? Then we say every time employee one goes, another time it will be another person. So from the surveys, we got very healthy feedback on the areas where we are not working. And then we tell them after every quarter, what have we done on the issues which were raised? So as HR, get off from just the firing and hiring, be involved in talent management and consciously think about that. What is it that I'm doing to ensure that these people stay? But the caveat is you can never tie somebody to an office, but be there to say, I have done my part. And when you do your part, everybody remembers and says, I will be a good ambassador of this organization that I worked for 5 years ago. Because as much as now my needs were bigger than what the organization could give me, but there were things that they did which I thought improved me as a person and made me able to deliver for the government, for our case, and also for your businesses or your organizations where all of you come from. So thank you so much.
Madam Odandi, I think you're the real definition of experience and practical approach to learning. I like the way you have actually cascaded it from a case study to what human resource, especially professionals here, need to think and do. And I like the truth is as much as we talk about these initiatives, sometimes it calls for some boldness and proactiveness. Something I think us professionals in human resources have been accused of very much, because probably that's who we are. And I think all the signals are out there. We need to really step up our boldness and on the place. Some people called it plow your lane. So we can do this very well. And, you know, I got to some point and I started taking some notes because it was real practice. So what are we to do right now? And I picked several of them. I hope you have picked some yourself strategies from what Caroline was talking about. Because if you really need to be strategic human leaders or human resource leaders, there are some things that comes with that word strategic. And I think besides being bold or confident to own the space, of course, that comes a lot with a lot of other things, including competence to do it, and which is the preparedness. And Caroline has spoken about being proactive. And proactive means if you foresee things happening, that means you plan ahead of them. You know, from what developments are going with your organization, there is a chance that you will hit this challenge in your talent management strategy or plan. Then what do you do ahead of time? That's what is called be proactive. When we talk about, and one of the triggers of these challenges that strain talent management is how to recognize, reward these people, and create meaningful workplace for them. And therefore, resources become a very key player there. And if you are being productive or driving productivity, I think Caroline has outlined that very well, then we achieve a sustainable performance. Most likely as an HR, you're not likely going to hit that challenge. So you navigate it because of what? You're proactive. I like the way Caroline has also challenged us, let us not just leave strategic plans to, we always say the executives there, ndo wanajua what it has, but we need to own it. If we really have to be very strategic, let's go in it. Let's know what it is all about, what is being articulated and required there, and we cascade the deliverables in those performance or productivity, strategic goals or objectives, so that we are active in the productivity. Someone scored it in the last webinar that we are commercially proactive as human resource leaders. Then when it comes to the change, if we have to do it, I can't agree better from what Peter is saying and Caroline. We need to manage, communicate very effectively as we progress with the change. And by the way, whether it's a redundancy, whether it is restructuring, downsizing, it all boils down to something called change management. The way you will manage that change will make you a successful organization or not after that change. So managing that, and that includes a lot of things, including what Caroline has mentioned, communication. So service is very critical as well. It's a compelling case. So thanks very much. I like what participants are actually sharing here, and thanks very much. If you feel that session Caroline brought about, their case study was really nice, let's appreciate Caroline with some emojis here. So let me pick one or two views, and then we move on to hear what contingencies do we have. Majority of young workers consider to work overseas and will only come. I think this one relates to someone who had spoken about the short term. People are appreciating what Caroline has delivered right now. Rebecca, thanks. Mercy Karanja. I have had to be part of a redundancy process. I think we got that one. It wasn't easy at all. It's a change management process. Dorothy Gola, it is emotionally draining even on the part of the drivers, but someone or people must do the work. That's very true. That's why it boils down to. Work has to be done. Catherine, let me take your comment. My pain point is managing talent in projects with specific end dates. Yes, I'm with you there. Yeah, this is not even about tenure. It's like we are doing this in 7 months or 5 months. When employees are aware that the project ends in June 2024, the exodus begins. The exodus begins. And I guess you can guess why. a year before the end. So people start exiting before you even finish the project. But work continues, and bringing new people in and bringing in new people is nearly impossible. Yeah, I get to get the scenario now. What strategies have worked for people here? Have you worked in projects? Do you experience this as Madam Ogola is experiencing in projects? I have seen that a lot because we work also with especially project-based organizations, mostly in NGOs, INGOs. And there's always this challenge when the project term is going to an end. It's all nervous, anxiety, and people, there's fear of the unknown. So how do you manage that so you can actually deliver the deliverables of the project? I'll be interested to hear people in projects. How do you do that? I hope you're also picking one or two things as we move in the discussion about resilience strategies, even to apply in projects as well. Let me get this one, Norbert. The HR has to sit in those strategic meetings for strategic human resource planning and execution. I like that. Yes, thanks very much. That's very true. We are no longer the routine people, administration people. We are sitting on the table and following through on what people needs are and deliverables in performance are and contributing strategically. Thanks very much. I can't take all of them now, but I like the way the discussion is rolling down. And thank you very much. I want to bring Peter on the picture. And I want Peter, because your case is very practical, nearly done within the same issues we are going through and challenges in talent management. But you can quickly tell us, how do we now navigate this issue of retention and loyalty, to start thinking strategically on how to build a culture? I know Caroline has spoken about culture a lot in many facets, but culture of engagement. Because before we start doing these things, we already saw the writings on the wall, but the communication comes a little bit late at the day, and many other ways we engage the stakeholders. So Peter, how do we foster a culture of engagement and creating meaningfulness? Because the workplace has shifted from tenure of working or retention and the loyalty to finding meaningful reasons that employees need to be in the workplace. So what can organizations or leaders do to foster that culture of engagement and meaningfulness? Welcome, Mwenda.
Thank you, Damaris.
Yes.
Thank you very much. Before I comment on what you have mentioned, allow me to to help maybe contribute to the challenge, the pain point that was raised by Catherine Sentamo. I think what I have done in terms of managing projects is that, and I'll give a very practical example. In 2020, before 2020, we used to. Before 2020, we used to manage our performance using Excel template, and we decided to bring in a system, performance management system. But during the discussions, we had spotted a talent within, or other talents, because it was not one person, who we had discussed the concept about how to come up with a system. And it became a project which was handed over to the project management team. They developed timelines, of course, the project plan. And these two young men started the project. Now, what we did to ensure that we have these people motivated throughout until the end of the project is that we tied the project to their visibility in the organization. that this project success means that you are more visible as an employee, and we shout about it. We shout about you. And of course, you know that everybody wants to be recognized for what they are doing. Number two is that the organization recognizes that this project takes more time, energy, and your attention than normal work that you've been employed to do. As much as it is your 8 to 5, you're in the organization 8 to 5, your involvement, your engagement, your energy, your mental involvement is more than your normal work. That is a recognition that the management must do. And therefore, as these two people are doing this project, or rather the team, you are communicating milestones to the key stakeholders who should recognize that these people are doing a good job, they are progressing well. And I tell you, that system was done internally, a serious system that we use up to today to manage our performance. And it is attached. When you mentioned that, we even voted to give it a name as an organization. And the employee who picked the name that was finally adopted was also recognized that they gave us a name of this system to be used. And whenever you mention that system, the team that was behind it, you can't separate it with associating that success with them. And we still with them. I've shared that so that Catherine Sentamu can think about how then to make it, to associate the benefit of your projects with the people who are handling it. So having said that, Damaris, you had asked how organizations can achieve a win-win situation for both employees and the company. I will mention 3 things that may for consideration by my colleagues here. Number 1, I'll mention about creating a sense of purpose for the work people are doing. Ensure that people see purpose in their work. Make the work meaningful to them. Number 2, you need to be intentional about the work environment being positive. And then number 3, invest in professional development for your staff. For no HR manager or no HR professional would want to be losing your key talent every now and then, because high staff turnover is not only costly to your because of the recruitment, the time it takes, but it is costly in terms of the disruption it causes in the business is unimaginable. The operations are affected because of distributing the work that remains when people exit before you get the replacements, makes others feel the work burden has increased. And this can affect their morale and energy, and sometimes can cause burnout. So the remaining employees get affected. So that is something that we, in my view, we need to take very, very seriously. But having said that, no HR professional should be stressed because people are leaving. People will always leave because anybody who is in an organization today left somewhere for them to be where they are. So people will leave. The question is, who is leaving? If the list of your exits is only for your top talent, then there's a question that you need to answer to yourself. But managers and especially HR managers can help the line managers foster an environment where you promote employee satisfaction and longevity. So how do you create a sense of purpose? because that is what we need to look at. The question, and in my view, when you have a sense of purpose, the most powerful thing that can help retain your employees is when you give them a sense of purpose in their work. I have realized more than ever before that people want to be involved in what matters, something that is significant, like the project I've mentioned, something that has an impact in the business, something that is tangible. When they do it, they can see what it has done to the organization, how it has affected bottom line, how it has affected social standing of the organization. When employees feel that way, then they know they are significant in the organization and they can easily stay. But maybe to cascade it further, how then do you achieve that sense of purpose? And number one, you can ensure that people's work, and when you look at work, is where they are setting their KPIs, ensure that there is a direct link between the organization's mission and goals in terms of what they are doing. If someone can see my contribution has this impact at the end game of my contribution is actually achieving this goal, then someone will know that my work has significance and they can easily stay. Celebrate milestones. I have mentioned that when someone identified a name of the system we are using, there was a recognition. And not just recognition, there was also monetary consideration, so that someone can take themselves out because they identified a name of a system. Out of a very transparent process, people should vote, come up with suggestions, and then there is a team to select. When your name is selected, then you're recognized for that. Celebrate employees' milestone and achievement, and involve them in genuine decision making. Let people don't feel they are rubber-stamping something. You have already made a decision and you're involving them at the tail end, just to tick a box that you're actually involving people in their decision. Number two, be intentional. Be intentional about your environment. Make it, the environment should be positive. And when we say positive on the physical facilities and oh, sorry. I don't know. Yeah, I'm back.
Yes, we can hear you.
Confirm.
Yes.
Yes. Sorry for that. Be positive about coming up or making your environment, work environment positive. Let mutual respect be there. Let the environment be collaborative. Let people be create a culture of helping each other. Where I'm struggling with this, let people be open to speak their mind or to seek for help. There are organizations where the culture does not allow someone to ask for help, because when they ask for help, they are rebuked and they are seen like people who do not understand things. Ensure that your culture allows people to be free to ask for help when they need it. How do you do this? Again, communication, transparency, and trust. When you do communication properly, I mentioned about a restructuring process. When there's a restructuring process, your communication should be on point. Don't allow for speculation. Don't allow for grapevine to rule. If you give constant, sufficient communication. I'm saying sufficient because, again, you don't over-communicate, because then people may say, we are used to this. And that creates trust. Ensure that there is real collaboration and team building. And when I say team building here, I don't mean going out there and jumping and coming back tired. As much as that is okay, but team building actually is not that one day people go out and jump and come back tired and feeling muscle pains. Team building is where you see yourself as succeeding because your colleague has succeeded, and then asking yourself, what do I do for my colleague to succeed? Because if they succeed, I succeed. That is team building. Addressing conflicts immediately and promptly. And this is where you have a very elaborate, clear, shared grievance handling procedure in place that is understood by everybody. Where conflict arises, you address it. Create an employee wall of fame, where you recognize people and ensure that it's a program that is designed to honor employees who and celebrate their achievements and their contributions. It is a visual representation of the commitment by management that when someone does this, we recognize them, and we recognize them openly. And of course, I think Caroline talked about inclusion. We call it DAI in CIC insurance. DAI is diversity, equity, and inclusion. And especially because of now the environmental social governance that is in place, where organizations need to focus on the S in the middle, then make sure that you are seen to be an inclusive organization, where nobody feels that you're favoring anybody, or you have there's a certain kind of people you're looking at favorably than others. By doing that, I believe then you are fostering, or you are intentional about positive work environment. My last point, number 3, is investing in professional development. Many times organizations ask themselves, if we engage or we use a lot of budgets to train these people, what if we train them and they go? It will be a loss to us. But the question is, what if you don't train and they stay? What will happen? Because then you need to ask yourself. And in CIC, we have a digital platform, LinkedIn, with a license for every employee, including the regional employees, because we have a regional office in Malawi, South Sudan, and Uganda. All the employees with unlimited time spent learning, a course of your choice. And we are in the process of implementing 2 new skills every year, even if they don't relate to your work, because that license is very expensive. LinkedIn license is not cheap for over 700 employees, and you can do 1,000 courses within whichever period. Growth opportunities, identify them and push people to go for this. Professional development, in my view, is a win-win for both the employee and the organization, because when they retool themselves and they reskill themselves, they become better, they become productive, and the employer will benefit from that. And again, looking at opportunities internally. Don't always look at people who are external as better than your own. First of all, give an opportunity to employees within the organization for roles that come up. And of course, that will be possible if you are also intentional about your succession planning, and where you have built a talent pool, and that pool is well taken care of in terms of being given stretch goals, targeted development for them to be ready. Thank you, Damaris.
Thank you very much, Mwenda. I like the practical answers that you're giving us around what organizations or leaders can do so that they can be a win-win kind of a balance between the people and the business. when it comes to making decision on talent management and retention for the best talent we have, even amidst very tough economic issues. And I like some pointers I picked. One of the things, not just post-COVID, has taught us is that people are no longer just showing up to work because of just the pay only, but we have a great deal of people who want to find meaningfulness, purpose, and many other things in the workplace. And by the way, it just reminds me when Caroline was speaking, a gentleman, my friend was dealing, in fact, my colleagues were dealing with in one of the ministries. He's just coming in the entry level. And you know, the good thing with the government, there is the appetite for permanent and pensionable agreements or contracts. So the problem was this gentleman didn't want that permanent and pensionable thing in his contract. He was actually asking the HR to remove it. And it was an unheard of thing in that department. How can you say you don't want permanent and pensionable? And look, these are the new dynamics on how we manage talent. People are no longer, excited about some things because of what? Because that's what Peter is explaining. What else are people looking for them to really want to stay and contribute? And I love it. Purpose. Are we aware how we align, or whether our people are actually aligned to our mission and visions in the organizations we work? Are they tickled? Are they excited about the vision or the purpose for which we exist for that organization? Are they finding meaning in what they do? Because those are the new actually realities about talent management and motivation factors for employees coming in the workplace. So I like it, taking time to understand whether people are actually feeling like they're doing meaningful work in your place helps a lot in driving. In fact, it's easiest strategy to drive meaningful engagement for staff, which is one strategy for having people stay. So when we are finding meaningfulness, we're talking about significance. So I'm seeing when I actually meet a client and I am able to serve them in ABCD as is required in my KPI, this kind of contribution is making this significant growth within this organization. I feel like I'm contributing, and I think that's a fundamental principle for anybody who works anywhere, to see that they are contributing. And secondly, Peter said it very well, we need to recognize people, and recognition has also evolved because the manner in which we recognize people also is evolving. And I like Carol's thrown one in the spanner in works that consider inclusion strategies that are also fueling recognition and reward. You know, these things we reserve for some specific categories. How about you surprise your employees, like sending them to those only reserved kind of trainings and engagement, so they can learn. They feel like they're learning in a space that is beyond just a salary. And I can't say all of them, but I can't emphasize more on culture. For you to have employees who can trust that you can run a fair change or process that is inspiring them to stay, they are very fundamental things that your culture must actually have. And that is transparency, and therefore they trust in your communication and information you sharing. And once they trust in that, then you know you are halfway there, because they will trust that what strategy you bring on board is going to succeed, though it becomes easy for them to plug in. Even when you tell them this is where we go as much as our relationship with you is concerned, they'll trust you actually absolutely have done everything. And this is the only way that can work for that employee. So this undertones of trust, the values, the missions, building sense of teamwork and collaboration in bringing all this up, and feeling that we actually are having a good experience and we are valued here, is about culture. And I can't talk about that much because that's all I do, helping institutions build high performance cultures for the organization. So thanks very much. I want to pick a lot of hey guys, I just like the way you're flowing in the chat as well. And as a learning and development professional, I always know that's the way we are learning. So let me take one or two before I move into the resilience in the future of this talent management and retention. Leila, you say the other day I was signing new contract with my staff, and when I was awarding years, 30% were actually reducing the number of years. Yes, look at that. How many people are experiencing such scenarios? So true, people interest at workspaces now are very diverse, and something just aren't their cup of tea. Things are exactly, that's what I've been saying. It's no longer business, one rule that you can apply for everyone. Know your team. That's the best secret I can say. No, Bird. Diversity, equity, and inclusion is an important emerging trend. Perfect. For any organization worth its salt should adopt this. I agree. I am happy that HR professionals are at the center stage in it, adopting and implementing. And there's a lot actually we can drive under diversity, equity, and inclusion as much as we want to succeed in talent management, because people want to feel appreciated as much as they come with their diverse differences in the workplace. We appreciate you for who you are. That's number one. And when it comes to inclusion, how far are we including them and into what? Very key, because that's where the motivation starts to tick. Then I'd pick this one from Moses. Moses Kamara? Yes. I hope you're well. You train them, they go, you don't train them. I think this one, Peter, you say, this is Moses Kamara, I know. I hope so. Okay. Catherine, recognition is a key point. Thank you. In projects, there are tendencies for other people to receive credit for other teams' effort. Yes, and that's really doesn't go well. Okay, I picked this one from Caroline. I think that's something you wanted to add there. A lot learned from Carol, that's from Harriet. Boldness and confidence is key to HRs by ensuring they are being part of support in change in leadership and cultures as well. Driving strategic goals are very critical. I think you're agreeing to that. And there are many you know, messages that has come through. Yes, people telling me where they are. I can see Kamara from Sierra Leone. Thank you very much. And we have my someone from South Sudan, Makel. Welcome, welcome. Yes. So we continue picking them, but now I'm going to encourage you to ask questions because you're moving towards a segment of questions where we can answer your question in case we haven't been able to answer so far in the discussion that we've had with the team. Because we are almost 20 minutes to the top of the hour. Now we have sort of understood dynamisms have shifted, very true. And we are in a different ballgame, and the insights are immense. They have been shared by the panelists as well as participants through the chat. And is it going to remain the same in the future? Probably is a question I'm asking myself. Because if we go by the president's set in change along and around these areas, it's not even in talent management only, neither retention only. It's affecting any other aspect of the workplace, change. So what are some of the things, dynamics, changes that we may be anticipating in the future? And I want to bring Caroline on the mic again. And Carol, you can tell us or share some of the insights of how you view the future when it comes to talent management. What changes are going to probably not surprise us, definitely AI being one of them, that HR professionals can stay proactive on as we manage talent and retention. Welcome, Caroline. Are you there?
Okay. Thank you so much. And thanks, very insightful. I'm also having my notebook is almost, I've done like another 2. I'm writing a lot and learning from you and also from the chat. But I wanted to share something with somebody asked a question, how to manage workplace politics and workplace grapevine that can easily affect talent management. Yeah, because then they will always ask, is this the only person who gets trained? You'll hear those stories getting into the corridors. You'll also hear people talking about how comes these young people or this lady, you know, they'll just start, people can frame many things. But you as, I think we've stepped our game and we are the HR. I always tell people we don't have to make noise, we don't have to quarrel people, we still carry the human face, but we are very strong people. Inside us is still, inside of us is empathy, and we will stop those grapevines by, one, knowing your team. Know your team. You have a staff of 100 people and you don't know them, then you are failing in your job. You will know those who are starters, those who start fires, those people who are the shooters, the people who just make noise at the corner, the people who, you know the strength and the weaknesses of your team. And when you realize there's somebody who fuels grapevine, you as HR, you're able to pick them and say, face them on the nail and tell them, I think this is not right. The reason why we are training Officer ABC is because of, one, there's a need in the department. Two, they have potential, but they are not doing their best, so that you remove it from the people, you take it to the goals of the organization. And so when people see that you do not get yourself into the same grapevine and also the politics, they will respect that. But once you know your team, you can address those issues. I think that was something that I wanted to add. I saw it on the chat. And then number two, also, once you know the areas, the pain points of the organization, that principle that both myself, Damaris, and Mwenda has spoken about of inclusion, look out for those people who feel they're disadvantaged. Look out for the people who feel they're not included. Look out and find the reason why. When you do that, you will never stop fully office politics. They will always be there because they're where two or three are gathered, you know. You'll always find the politics. But when you know that rule of inclusion, rule of clear reason why you're doing this, when you share that with them, it will be very easy for them to grow and go together. Then I think I can just go back to, we do not have to remain to the question that Damaris asked. We do not have to remain where we are at. But three things will change in the future. And we were just talking about the future of work. The future of work is not only now degrees. You come to me, you have a degree. You come to me, you have some qualification. The future of work is people who can do more. Yeah. The future of work is one role can be done by one person can do beyond just being an engineer. This person can be A, B, C, D. The future of work now, we have lawyers who are the HR directors. Haven't we seen that? Yeah, somebody learned law, but now they are the director of HR. Or you have HR people who have gone back to school and have done law, so they are HR lawyer or lawyer HR, you know, those kind of things. The future of work is a multifaceted person or talent. You will be looking for people who can do one or two things, and you'll be looking at the not the soft skills, the mass skills in the, you look somebody who can communicate, somebody who can do team building, somebody who can do proper presentations, somebody who can do data analytics, somebody who can, you're not only looking for the traditional professions. That's the future of work. You're looking for beyond, and this is people who can do more. Then that means that our talent management must be immediately an officer joins the organization and you assess them, you realize apart from being the communications officer, this can be a graphics designer. You can now curate talent on those areas. You're looking at, apart from this officer who has come in as the administrator, but they can also be the mediator. You now build the capacity in mediation. that's the proactiveness we are speaking about. But you must be very clear that one, there will be new technologies. AI is with us now. You want people who are coming and they can do for you your presentation in minutes. You're looking for people who will come and they're not just drivers. They are also people who are able to do for you repairs. They're also able to, they've come in as, you are just drivers, but they're also coming in as people who can do software. You know, the things they can do beyond just their work. You're looking for reports to come, quality reports to come from the lowest level. So then the future of work needs that you're looking at the new technologies, and also the future of work is meaning that you will have many remote stations. You're going to have many remote places. We no longer have to sit for a Senate or a cabinet meeting just in the office. We can hold it. But who are these people who can do that? So that means that then you will have to, one, continue to do mentorship and coaching. I think that's something that we must be deliberate on. That as people come, then you're also already having a pool of your mentors, people who can mentor your young people who are coming to service for us. We are very deliberate on that. There should be proper mentorship and coaching. And also just, you also building a strong succession management. Yeah, because then we have, through this 2 hours, 1.5 hours we've been into this call, we realize that we cannot tie people into the organization. People will always leave. Then what are you as a HR person working on a proper and a strong succession management? That will be that you're putting a pool of people either in your space or out there. You're also building another pool of engineers. You're also having a pool of, you know, if your sector is engineering, if your sector is public service, then I am intentionally going to the universities like what I do. I'm intentionally going to working with Kipra to go to the universities and train people on governance, train people on public service, so that when they finish, they will be interested to come to the Council of Governors and take up the role. That can be done in succession management, being done internally, but also out there, creating your links with like-minded organizations so that you have a pool even from out there. So that at a short notice, when an officer brings you a resignation, I can call Damaris and tell her, I need a water, I need an OD specialist. Do you have one? And she's going to have a pool here that you can select from. So you do those proactively. And then I think what I can just say is something that we need to also do is to encourage internal mobility and promotions, so that again, you're making people be confident on the system that you have. Develop talent pipelines, you know, that's something that we also do a lot. So with the young people from colleges, from the TVETs, from that we are working with, and then the ones that have come to intern with us, they are a pool for our talent pipelines. When an opportunity arises, then I can do internal mobility. I can promote somebody who is in level 4, they can go to 3, and then I have a pool, somebody I can bring to. So with that creates a sense of, we own this place. I have a career path that we can walk. And then if I find an opportunity, I can still want to work here. But when they leave, I still have a backup from my talent pipeline. That is very, very important. And then I think lastly, we just need to be, as HR professionals, keep abreast with what is happening in our space. Don't be left behind. See the things that are happening. Learn, relearn, and learn. Build your capacity. I was a very timid HR until somebody brushed some stupidity from my head and told me, you need to get out of your comfort, sit and do more. And told me, you just get back to school, get to learn. And now I'm doing public policy. And for me, public policy in HR. Why would you sit there, brush, learn what is happening? I've also registered to do HR auditor. So I do those things just to learn so that I build myself. I also build my people who are behind me, so that as I move, also my team, HR members in my group are also moving. And then I have, in my recruitment I did lately, I needed somebody who is very good in IT. so that HR data analytics, data presentations on HR. Nowadays, when I go to the cabinet to present a HR presentation, everybody asks, who did that presentation? It doesn't have to be me. My team really does very good present. And you'll see them at the upcoming wage bill conference on Monday. The governor will be presenting something from HR, and they'll be wondering, oh, who did this? It's the HR team. So you need to upskill yourself, upskill your team, let everybody be confident to present about HR. Then that talent management within and without will be something that we can do. And lastly, talent management is a holistic approach. It requires collaboration. I agree with Peter. Effort both in people and the resources. Talent management must be resourced. You as the HR person, budget for it, fight for that budget to be included until the end-to-end, from recruiting, onboarding, all the way to succession. Even separation is part of talent management. Then it must have people, but also have resources. I submit. Thank you.
Very much, Caroline, for your insights as we move towards the future. I like it. You even mentioned AI. Don't I even like your style of making sure you keep people in the pipeline? And again, we go back to empowering your team to be able to deliver and deliver the best. And we wish you all the best with the wage bill conference coming up with your team. We'll be looking forward to see whether mtakata mshahara ama what will happen. But thanks for the insights from skilled talent moving to the future. I don't know whether you're telling us that we need to get worried for those people who just are stuck in one space forever and they have only this one skill to give. But the future is going to be multifaceted. That's very true. You're going to have different professionals being able to deliver other things, even out of their profession, very well. Because of what? Because they have upskilled, and they have built skill in those areas. So that's something to watch about, or stay proactive too. Mentoring, coaching, that's going to be one style for retaining your best talent, or to want people to stay with you, because it's easy. You make the work to, navigate challenges very easy, and people like that. Workforce really is very resourceful when you're able to do that. And of course, artificial intelligence matters and issues. So thanks very much for your insights, Peter. I want to quickly bring you on and tell us what is your, what is your view on the trends in the future, and what do you foresee as we move towards the future in matters of talent management and creating win-win situations for people and business?
Thank you, Damaris. Honestly, I feel like Caroline has already captured most of the trends I have in mind. However, I think to just give a bit more perspective to employee experience, organizations talk about employee customer experience, and there are departments called customer experience. But I think in the trend, I see a situation where we will prioritize, or other organizations will prioritize enhancement of overall employee experience, recognizing what they are doing, the role they are playing, and the role overall employee experience will play in attracting and retaining good talent. I see where a personalized approach to employees will actually be the thing to look at. The way we look at customers' preferences, and we tailor make products and services, we segment them. I see a situation where organizations will need to segment employees using data analytics in terms of the various demographic aspects of them, so that then you don't generalize your employees, because the current if you look at the various generations in the workplace currently, their needs are quite different. And as you put it, in terms of someone who was saying that the pension issue, the pension should not be included. In fact, I experienced it in a town hall meeting where all the staff are there before in a hall physically, and two young people stood and said, I do not want pension. In fact, give my money now. Even whatever you are contributing for me, just put it in my money, that something that can come to my pocket, and I use it now. And of course, the generations that, of course, those who have a number of years, both the experience and age, and looked at these people like, you don't know what you're talking about, but they were genuine, because their needs, the way they look at things, I don't need pension now. I am only 25 years. Why do I need to? Of course, we had to have a very robust training in terms of why prepare for future, why you should not eat your future now, because if you eat it, it will eat you in future, to help them appreciate. When again, I see personalized career development serving as a dynamic roadmap where you align individual goals, where people see what I am doing it to myself, but this is the impact it has on the organization, so that then they can pay me a salary. That kind of shift, I see it coming. Of course, I can't also overemphasize the role of artificial intelligence, chat GPT, the social media, especially in terms of recruiting. We now see artificial intelligence is changing the recruitment process in terms of streamlining tasks. Sometimes creating a job advert, and communicating with the candidate without the intervention of people. And definitely, that is, although we need to be cautious, because sometimes it can give you things that may not help. Of course, some checks here and balance. I also see diversity, equity, and inclusion very key going forward. Organizations, in my view, will be recognized not only for their bottom line, but also for their social standing, on their basis of how do they have, what initiatives do they have when it comes to diversity, equity, and inclusion, and their environmental sustainability. Because if then there is no social standing of a company, perhaps people will not look at just profitability, that we are used to seeing profit before tax. What else is this company doing when it comes to social governance, environmental governance, and caring about communities, and other things that are the software of our society? That is, and HR, because of the S in environmental social governance, because of the S in the middle, I see HR being or must be involved in terms of ensuring that this S has a meaning and makes this company visible to the society. When it comes to minding about wellness of the employee, I see where employees will make companies think about wellness from a very different perspective, not just providing a medical cover, but minding about mental wellness in terms of we have negotiated pacts with counseling organizations where we encourage staff to go for counseling, not because they have a problem, not because there's just take time once in a while. It is paid for by the company. Go sit with a counselor, just have a chat. And during those chats, some issues have emerged where employees notice that I need to discuss this, maybe another 2 or more sessions that will help me be a better employee, a better father, a better mother, or a better worker. Yeah. So those are the things I see, the trends in the future, Damaris. Thank you.
Thanks very much, Mwenda, for that. I think sort of they match on where the future is moving to, and the strategies on how to mitigate also are also evolving. And I like that. We move from wellness to diversity to inclusion, and all that Peter has also outlined in his final statement there on the future of talent management. You know, I agree there is a lot of things that are shifting when it comes to how we run the matter of people strategy. And the future is not going to be static either. I think we all agree on that. So I want to pick, before I move to the parting shot, and just quickly give an overview of what I have learned, and quickly probably tell us what you've learned through the chat. And I want to pick some very good questions that I've seen here. Norbert, positive workplace is also key when it comes to retention. I agree. I think we have spoken about the role of culture on that, which is critical. Recognition is key, of course, and how you do it. How best can we leverage on grapevine in communication? Yes, how best can we leverage on grapevine? Is it important? How can we make use of it? And probably I'll come to you, Caroline, to pick that one. Is a question from George Wasike. How can we make use of the grapevine? We have Robinson, who is asking for insights on workplace politics. I think that was comprehensively answered at some point by Caroline. How can we restructure career paths within an existing organizational structure to secure career commitment and retention? A good one. Julius Opolot is asking that. Mwenda, you will give us a short insight around that. How can we restructure career paths? Roberto, the panelists delved into aspects of restructuring to keep the ship afloat in the tough business season. Cost cutting that comes in form of redundancy is part of strategies for organizing deployment. Let me see. Cost cutting is never sustainable. Yes, I agree. That is very true. And that's why we are exploring other avenues besides just matters of salary and all that. Until, yeah, you can cost cut until you actually cut the throat. Oh, we talk of sustainability and business. I think you're exploring the ideas that have been shared. So let me pick one from Mweni. Great panelists. I think it's a comment you have put together. Thank you very much. Well, thanks very much for appreciating that. We hope you have learned. Yes, Caroline, someone asking for your contacts here. Future is multifaceted, multi-skills, very true. And again, I think that one has just joined, trying to take us back. Okay. Oh, Muya Mathangani, I think it's a comment. Once you crack why people feel disengaged and what they are looking for to feel part of the organization, I think that's when you crack the deal on retention, on how you retain your talent. Thanks very much for your comment, Muya, and Karibu Sana. I think if we get a moment, we'll invite you to tell us what goodies you have been telling us on the groups. There's a question I saw somewhere that I'm trying to Caroline should invite all HR in counties. I don't know why Jen is saying this, and take them through HR matters. According to Carol, to Jen, there is need for some of them in the counties, because she says the intimidation in these counties is on another level. Wow, that's a good observation, Caroline. Thanks for being candid with that one. Yes, awesome presentation. Thanks from a participant there. Okay, any other question? Please, if, I agree with Madam Caroline. I think these are more of statement appreciating that the HR has to sit and I think I picked that. Any question besides those two I've picked, bring it on board. But at this point, I want to hear, what have you learned yourself? You can tell us just one thing or two that you're going to pick from this engagement, conversation, or webinar. Tell us what you've learned, and we will know learning has taken place. Before I move to quickly take the parting shot from my panelists, we would be glad to know whether you've learned. And I'm asking Mwenda, you can give the insights, and at the same time, you conclude with your parting shot. Karibu.
Thank you very much, Damaris. Maybe restructuring career, I think that is what you wanted me to comment on first before I give my parting shot. Yes. For sure, sometimes it can be confusing. And I think it is Robert, is it Robert or Julius, who asked, how can we restructure career paths within existing organizational structure to secure career commitment and retention? I think it depends on the organization that someone is working for, because some organizations have a very complex organizational structure. The existing organizational structure can be very complex. The first thing I would encourage is to understand that hierarchy in the organization, because as you look at your career path, you must be very clear in terms of where you see yourself in the next few years and what you need for you being there. So if you understand the levels, the reporting lines, the promotion criteria, the requirements, then you can strategically place yourself and start a journey where you secure the career you want. Having understood that the existing structure and those things I've mentioned, career reporting lines, promotion criteria, designations, and all that, you need to build your network in the organization and outside the organization. And when you build your network, it is looking at who can mentor you, who can coach you, who can be your sponsor. And please do not misunderstand me when I say who can be your sponsor. It is someone who can say something about you because they know your worth, they know your value to the organization, to the key stakeholders, decision makers about you. Ensure that your value is out there. It's people who matter know your value, your worth, what you can do. Make sure to blow out your value out there, and then pursue your passion. Pursue your passion, and this can be by adapting to the various changes. Of course, you can work with your coach, internal coach, and mentor, or external, depending on what you're looking for. But building your network, that will help you. Having said that, maybe then I can, in short, say employee retention, talent management in in hard economic times will call for sacrifice by organizations. It is key. Employee retention and talent management is key for the success of our organizations. And we should see our crucial role in creating a work environment where employees feel valued, cared for, respected, and recognized. And then if you do that, of course, you will see employees that are engaged, who are motivated to stay, And maybe to recap on what I said, ensure that you create a sense of purpose in people's work, where work is meaningful to them. Be intentional about positive work environment. Invest in professional development without caring whether people will be out there or will leave you when you have spent money to train them. If you care too much about they will stay, they will leave, then you will have to stay with people who are not developed to help you pursue your objectives and your company's strategy. Offer competitive compensation and not just money. Ensure that people see the values. I think I like what Caroline mentioned about sending people to represent the country. Even that alone, I was sent out there to represent my country. It is in itself a very big achievement for visibility of these people. Show appreciation and recognize people genuinely and recognize them promptly. Don't delay it, because you delay it, it will not have the meaning it could have been. Companies that have done this or will do this in future will have significance in the seen by their employees, and you will have employee retention. You will create strong people who will be loyal, even if it is a loyalty that is short-lived, as I have experienced, but they will be loyal. And the time they are loyal to you, they will make a valuable contribution. They will be committed, and you will achieve your win-win. Thank you very much.
Very much, Peter out there, Mwenda, for sharing your insights around how we can restructure, career paths for employees, which is very critical. I think you're answering a question right there for someone who had asked that. I like the way you've handed it, sometimes as much as we worry about the lack of resources, and so we cut a lot on the area of investing on the people is going to bite us back, especially when it comes to the talent we have. So thanks very much. I like that. That was Mwenda Peter Etumbiri. Thanks very much. I want to really appreciate you very much for finding time and showing up and share your experience candidly with the panelists, with the participants here, which is something we do not take for granted. We really appreciate that. And coming through with so many insights and learning. You can see people saying in the chat what they have learned. We've learned from being bold, being proactive, following the process when it comes to the changes around restructuring from you and your case study and your organization. And we cannot thank you enough. So thanks for finding time and coming to share your insights on this platform. We really appreciate. Thanks for all that's coming through from the chat participants, but I want to move to Caroline. You share some insights. Can I even remember the question as you give your parting shot, Caroline, if you noted it down?
Okay, thank you so much for the opportunity that we've had today, and really grateful to speak. But the question which was asked, I think in one way or the other from the chat and also from the discussions that even what Mwenda has spoken about, it has been answered.
Mm-hmm.
And what I can just bring is with my parting shot, and that will be to continue to ensure employees are engaged and their experiences they receive from your workplaces add value to them. That will be at the end of it is to attract, retain, and I like what Mwenda has spoken, that even if you're retaining them for that short-lived, they would have added to your bottom line. And also if you're in business, the revenues would have just topped up because they've done something. And again, it has to be what you as HR becomes very intentional. You must be intentional. If you don't get intentional on your from day one, when you sit on that seat as a HR officer, a HR business partner, a HR manager, you must be there. You must be intentional about it. And the reason why I was saying that the question was already asked was about that grapevine, that, you know, some leaders in the organization keep the people who bring for them information and also the people who take their information. One thing about retention that I've also learned is true. In those organizations, you may not be at the top of the leadership, but could you advocate so that there is one source of information for staff? The main source, others could be the little things that we get because of our buddies or the people that we work with or how information. But when the officers know that any credible information either comes from the HR or comes from the CEO's office or comes from the heads of the department, that link, the way the organization operates is properly defined, then even if there are so many grapevines in the office, but they will always say, let's wait and hear. If they, like in government, let's wait if there'll be a circular. Haven't you heard about the housing levy? Everybody was talking about it, but what do we say? Is there a circular? Is there a memo? Is there an email from the communications director? Is there an email from HR? So let's continue to, you know, it's a work in progress. It must be continuous. And talent management needs will always be progressive. But could there be a center place where information comes from? And HR, your role is there, that even as you sit with your managers, you sit with your directors, continue to tell them that let there be the main source of information. Official communication, like in government, comes from one source. There may be many things, but if it is official, it will be said, from this day, trainings will be done only in Kenya School of Government, for example, or from this day, we can get other people. So let's create that pool and source for information, and how we communicate our talent management strategies must come from HR or come from the people that matter. But I wanted just to conclude, keep reading, keep learning. There are very great new models of retention, great models of TM, and you will find that you can get insights from either, like the Blue Concepts have these opportunities, but also from your reading, continuous reading as a HR, you'll be able to get ideas and then customize it to your own context. That is one thing that will work for you. You know your budgets, you know your people, you know how your managers take up your information. Get ideas from wherever you can get them, but come and customize it to what works for you in your organization. Keep learning, keep reading, keep challenging your limits. And when you challenge it, you'll just be shocked how much you can do as a HR person. And then lastly, what I want to say, talent management is a collaborative effort. Communicate your strategies very well. Get buy-in from your counterpart, so that even for us who go to cabinet or for us who go to the council, get buy-in from your team. It's a collaborative effort. And when you collaborate, like we know in our spaces, HR issues, sometimes they can always be taken to be, we want business, we want profits, they can be taken to be either the third agenda. But when you get buy-in from everybody, when you get buy-in from your colleagues, they'll be supporting your strategies, and then you will move. Then also get buy-in from those same employees who you're trying to talent manage. Then last of last, how are you talent managing yourself? You as the HR professional, are you looking for help? Are you looking for support? Are you looking for the trainings? You know, you can, like a mother, or a father, you can always just be doing it for the other people. When do you do it for yourself? Keep talent growing yourself and manage yourself as well, so that you're not left out because even for you at some point, you may also need to move. You may need to go for another assignment. You may need to go for another path. How does it work? I need to be one of the ambassadors being mentioned in the next government. That's why I'm building my skills. On a light note, so you as the HR director, HR manager, HR officer, talent build yourself so that one day when an opportunity rises that's better than where you are, you're ready and you're prepared for the next career path. Thank you.
Thanks for that parting shot, Caroline, and a challenge as well. We need to keep growing, keep challenging ourselves to be able to meet the challenges we face, not as just HR, but leaders, because I think in the future, like it has been said, we are going to play bigger roles that are further influential than just in the space of HR. I can't thank you enough, Caroline or Dante, for coming and finding time, preparing to show up as well, and sharing your insights as far as talent management, retention, amidst all the challenges we are having. So thank you very much. We are happy to have you on board, and of course, we won't mind having you in the future. Tunashukuru sana. Gracia, be blessed. There is a lot of insights from the chat, people saying what they have learned, and they're appreciating again the sessions. I like, sorry, let me, keeping abreast with what is happening in the HR space is of essence. That's from Elizabeth Okumu. Thank you for that. New message, let me pick, there are so many here. I have learned that agility is key in a volatile and changing environment. One must keep up to date on the skills in human resources, finally called upon to be human. Yes, I like that. Thanks very much. Caroline, thank you so much. Blue Concepts Africa and panelists, I have taken so much notes. That is Dorothy Ogola. Thanks for that. Notes to work on continuous improvement with team, appreciation of changing needs of various generations and the future of work with a more skilled workforce. Yes, thanks. It's good to know that. A big thank you to Blue Concepts Africa for putting up this great webinar. We appreciate that you're learning. When you learn is when we get the fulfillment. To our panelists, big ups. You've exceeded our expectation. That is from Elizabeth Okumu. Yes. Then we have, thanks, Frob, that is from, what's the name? He's running too fast, I can't even see. So there are many appreciations, again, here in the chat, many emojis. Thank you so much. This was informative. From Josephine, I think, let me pick this one, I think from Sierra Leone. My take-home competitive doesn't have to be monetary. There are many ways to maintain loyalty within employees. That's from Mercy Karanja. Yes, what I'm saying is the messages are quite flowing. We feel your learning, we feel your engagement, and this is a sign, like I say, I am a specialist in learning and development besides being in the thickets of organization development. And one thing we appreciate is knowing that learning has taken place. And for sure, this is an indication that learning has taken place in these sessions. So thank you very much to the panelists, to the participants for sticking around up to this moment. My parting shot is all these things that we've learned, but we need to embrace change, because the truth is things will keep on changing. Once we appreciate that change will always be there, then we will be proactive about what to do when these changes, of course, show up. Whether it is in our culture dynamism, whether it's a leadership that will change, whether it's actually the plan that will definitely change at some point in the year, that is a business plan. We are called upon as HR to plug in and support the business with the biggest asset, which is the people. So we need to actually learn to show up and fit well in that table, something that we actually need to challenge ourselves about when it comes to being and owning the tables of decision making. So we need to show up with some compelling cases. I think Caroline indicated and gave us a very clear example on what they did when they were no longer a ministry, but a department somewhere. They needed to defend their case. So we need to build a compelling cases and defend them in line with the contribution that we need to make. It has to be seen that we're also speaking the business language. Again, being bold, appreciating that we are in the right space, so we need to play the game with a lot of confidence that we are in that space because solutions are needed and we are the people to give those solutions. So we own the space and therefore we boldly speak out, share our insights, take out the noise because the noise will always be there, and focus on the solutions that we are called upon to give, especially during these hard challenges. And you know what? That's where the reputation for your role, the reputation for the career that you have comes in, and people will not be able to move until you are on the table for you to share your strategic input because it's considered to be strategic for that case. Whether it's only, on talent management or it's about retention, but all other functions of human resource, we need to master our game and boldly show up on the table. That's what I can leave parting shot with you. I really wish you all the best for the weekend. And until the next session, because you're running a session that goes for the next, all the 4 weeks of April, we have 2 sessions to come. That is for the next 2 weekends. Saturday is the day, starts at 10 a.m. East African time. So for those who want to join, just look on the platforms, the next topic of discussion. I wish you all the best and have a great weekend. Thank you very much. You can tell us your goodbye. This is a moment I allow people, by the way, to unmute and give their statement.
Okay, bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye, Damaris.
Bye, Damaris. How I wish we go all through the 4 sessions and then you give us a participation certificate.
Exactly. Thank you very much. Bye. From Sierra Leone.
Thank you so much, guys, and have a nice weekend.
Bye.
Hi, thank you and have a nice day.
Thank you. Bye. Have a nice day.
Have a nice day too.
Good day, everyone. All
Good day, everyone.
Thank you, Damaris. I feel so bad that I missed last week's session because I was equally in training. I've tried to look for it. I can't do Facebook, but how I wish I could even get the YouTube version. But I'm so glad I attended this one. God bless the team. And the presenters. You're awesome.
Yes. Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank you
Damaris.
very much.
Great work.
Thanks, Damaris. Great work.
Thank you as well.
Damaris, how do we get recordings when we are not there? You're saying we have 2 more weekends. Some of us will be engaged next week.
All the sessions are streamed. When you go to my page on Facebook, if you're on Facebook, we are live. That video is there. You can review it anytime you want. And all the sessions, you'll be able to see them on Facebook. In the next 2 weeks, everything will be on Blue Concepts Africa YouTube channel. So we will also share the links to the Google, to the YouTube Blue Concepts Africa channel. So you can view all of them there. If you don't get to see them, just get in touch. We'll drop it in your chat anytime.
Okay, thank you.
Most welcome.
God bless.